before we dive into the traditional Manel questions, I want to talk about your music background and what you have going on and give people a little bit more insight on you. So tell me first about when you started drumming or started music, when it was a passion versus when it became more of a career path for you.
I think I was like, I don't know, like when I started drumming, like I was like a kid, you know what I mean? So I would say I got a drum kit when I was like 9, had drum lessons for a little bit, that didn't really like sink in, so I quit for like a year and a half, and then I started playing again. Around 16, I started touring like during school vacations with my friends. I wouldn't consider that like professional, you know, like or whatever, but like we were doing it, we were trying. And then I think it became more of like, you know, I'd start to be able to like ask like a rate or people would offer like, you know, they'd ask like, what do you charge?
And you're like, wait, I can charge something?
Yeah, literally. That was my first, like the first time somebody asked me to record an EP for them. They were like, oh, what do you charge? And I didn't know what the fuck to say. So, because I was like 17 or 18. And so I was like, oh, well, how many songs do you want to do? And so they told me, and then I went to the producer. I was like, what do I ask? And then I just hit them with this random number and they said yes. But yeah, it just kind of slowly, you know, increases from there.
Yeah.
But professionally, you know, not having like a regular job anymore, I would say like 5 years, 6 years, something around there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about tour life. You have gone on multiple tours for your own music, and well, have you done you've done your own music?
Yeah.
And then you've also like filled in. You've been part of just the band for other people. What is the pro and the con to touring?
Oh shit. The pros, you get to see a lot of cool places. I'm somebody who does like traveling, so I know that some people, for other people, it's not like worth it to them to like sit in a vehicle for X amount of time to see a new place. Like they'd rather just fly. But the cons is like, it is a lot of work. Like, you know, people have this perception, and I get it. Like, it does, because it looks fun. Like, it is fun. And I love that I've been able to get to where I am, and I hope to go further. But, like, it's not, you don't just wake up and go play a show and go to bed. Like, you know, you have your tour managers and your managers, and then all these venue people that you deal with, and certain times you have to make, you know, you get X amount of time to sound check, and if you go over your sound check, if you're not the headliner, you know, you're cutting into somebody else's time. So it's still like there's like a work schedule put in place. You have to be, you know, in a place at a certain time and doing certain things at a certain time, and that can be stressful with like, you know, 30 to 50 to 80 people on a tour, depending on how big the tour gets. So yeah, I mean, pros,
it's like it looks like you're this nomad when you're on tour, but in
actuality,
it's a very rigid, tight schedule when it comes to like show days.
Absolutely. Yeah. And even travel days can suck, because it's like if you have a show, you know, in Indiana and your next show is in Philly and you only have one day off, you don't have a day off. It's just spent traveling. You know what I mean? So that's what a lot of people don't get it. They see all these dates, and it looks fun on the surface, because it is. Yeah. But it's a fuckload of work, you know?
I know. When you've been in town since moving back to LA or California full time, when you've been in town for tours and stuff, you'll always hit us up and you let us know, and you'll be in town for maybe 24 to 48 hours. This time is a little bit longer, which is great. We finally got you on the show. But like most of the time you'll let us know, hey, this is the window. The shows are at this time at this place. And we have tried on those days, like, okay, we'll get there early. Can we hang out? It never ends up happening. I never get to see you. I literally just sit in the audience and watch you, and that's our time together.
I try to reach out to like my main group, and I know this clip will get me in trouble if this gets like posted. People are like, oh, you don't fucking message me, whatever.
Hurley, write this time. Look at him, he got his pen ready. He already knew. He was like, I'm writing this timestamp down right now.
Bro, it's difficult. You know what I mean? This, like, it's not, you know, there's certain people like you. If I could, I would just have a fucking free show for everybody every time. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's like we're all adults. You can pay for a ticket, go buy a ticket. Like, you're still gonna interact with me just as much as anybody on the guest list. Like, it's not. You know what I mean? I still have the same schedule that day. And anytime I'm in Boston or New York or LA, it's like I don't even really ever have time to warm up. I'm still entertaining like all my friends and my family in these areas and whatever. And so it's like I just dedicate my day to like standing around and, you know what I mean? If we're going to get food or whatever. But
I will say though, so, okay, I was going to ask you if you're comfortable. He is the most, like tight-lipped when it comes to who he works with. Like he only refers to people as like their first name. You're not a name dropper whatsoever. He has some cool connections, and for years he'd be like, oh, my friend so and so, and I'm like, that's cool. And then I realized 2 years later, this guy's like super, super famous, right? Like you're very, very cool when it comes to that stuff. But I will say, when I went to one of those shows, like there was some teeny boppers in there, and it's so funny to me that there are girls like that will be like, Derek, and I see when you repost on your Instagram stories, like all these girls being like, oh my god, like I had the best time of the show, and I'm like, ew, it's just Derek. Like, what are these people fangirling about?
It's all perception.
But if you're comfortable,
sure, yeah,
any one that you can like name drop, just so people understand like what type of music you're into, what you're doing, like who you're going on tour with.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, again, it's all like progress of career, right? Like, you know, before it was like I was playing for like a band that was well known in this area, and then I started working with bands that were like regionally big, you know what I mean? Like whether it was like, you know, Lions was like a big one from this area, and then it, you know, Alyssa Marie, and those were like really good platforms for me, like where I lived. And then when I got out to LA, it was slow moving, but like, you know, my friends like Belay and Tyler, and you know what I mean? Like they.
Can I say it?
Yeah.
Tyler Posey. Yeah. I don't know him personally. I don't know anything about him. I never was like a fan, but he's the kid from Teen Wolf, right?
He is.
And people are like die over him. And Derek would like talk about his friend Tyler and how Draco and his dogs hang out and like all this stuff. And for years I'm like, oh, your friend Tyler sounds like wicked cool. So and then he's like, I'm going on tour, and I'm like, wait a second, this dude is like 4 million followers. Like he's famous. People know him, you know?
So there's two Tylers. There's Tyler Young. So that's the Tyler whose our dogs would hang out.
Oh,
Tyler,
I just always assumed they were the same person.
But they had the same drummer, and that's why I was always filling in for those two Tylers. So I probably like mixed them up.
Okay, that makes sense.
But yes, in Tyler, he's one of the stars of Teen Wolf, and when I met him, you know, even my buddy Scott,
didn't know
I had no idea.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, I'm playing drums." He told me he got this gig, and so he said the dude's name, and I was like, "That's dope." But I didn't think he was gonna be like, "Do you know who that is?" Because I didn't. To me, I was like,
do you think that like 16-year-old Derek was watching Teen Wolf on ABC Family? Like, definitely not.
MTV super fans or whatever.
Is that what it was? MTV?
I think it was, yeah.
I have no idea.
To me, I was just like, oh, cool. My buddy gets to come back to America because he's from Australia. And
wait, the band from Australia.
Which one?
Makeout.
No, they're from here.
They're from here.
But Scott is from Australia.
Okay.
So that's why I fill in for all this shit.
Quick funny story about this band. They're very like alternative rock. Is that what you call it? Or like alternative? Pop punk, whatever. Yep. Okay. So a couple of years ago, my sister and I it was like one random morning, and I crawled into bed with my 10 out of 10 energy. I'm like, Lisa, like, wake up, come on, like, let's hang out, let's do something. And she's like, no. I'm like, okay, let me play you a song. So I literally search in Apple Music for Lisa, and the first thing that pops up, I know, the first thing that pops up is this song called Lisa by this band Makeout. I've never heard of them. I don't know anything. So I'm like, oh, look at a song named after you. The song literally starts with, I need you, Lisa, like I need a car crash. And it's like it's like, I hate you, Lisa, the whole song. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I feel bad. Like that wasn't what I meant to do. But then it was so funny and it became our thing. And I would just play, if she was in a bad mood, I'd play the Lisa song, and it would just get her to laugh. And then Derek comes in, and we were talking about it one time, and he's like, I went on tour with those people.
Yeah, I've played that song a bunch of times. Yeah,
it's just weird. Like the little random things like that, which is really cool. But you have a lot to be proud of. You have a very cool resume, and very, very, very happy for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Who would you consider your inspiration music-wise?
Oh, shit. I mean, like, because I'm kind of on two different sides of the music industry. Like I play as like a hired gun for other people. So like if there's influences for like drumming, and then like there's influences for like, when I'm writing for Chain of Islands, when I'm with Nick. So like in terms of like music, like overall music would be like Frank Ocean or Deftones or The Neighborhood, Isaiah Rashad. I don't know.
I already knew one out of those.
That
you mentioned, exactly. But that sounds really good. Happy for you. Okay, Chain of Islands, anything that people can expect. You guys had an EP last year. Okra,
yeah.
Okra.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely spelled
It's spelled
okra.
okra. It's said okra. Yeah, I got corrected on it. Trust me, I know. I'm with you. I'm with you on okra. Trust me.
Believe me, like you told me it released at what day, and I downloaded that thing. I listened to every song. It's okra.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
But it's not supposed to be that.
It's supposed to be pronounced ochre.
What's ochre?
It's like it's a shade of yellow between like brown and bright yellow.
Okay, well,
like
it kind of sounds like
color.
Shrek, like ogre.
Yeah, it's
Just so you know,
it's
when
like
you say it that
it's
way.
Like a pretty ogre.
Yeah, sure. But anyway, anything that people can expect with you guys soon?
So
new music, new nothing.
Yeah, me and knew nothing because we're notorious for just posting about things that aren't going to happen. But like we like to do that on our own time. So I got Nick on tour
Keep the
with
people
me.
on their toes.
Right? Yeah, the whole like 3 followers. No, I know. But I got Nick. I got him a gig playing guitar for an artist that I'm playing with, and like so we've been busy working with her. But it also leaves opportunity for us to like work on songs and content while we're on tour. So. We don't like to do the deadline thing, well, but there will be. We're gonna put something out this year, so
stay tuned.
Watch,
ladies and gents.
Go listen to the old stuff for now.
Don't hold your breath. Okay.